Hello and good morning. You are tuned into SableCast, where we like to highlight minority-owned businesses and not-for-profits and discuss their unique experiences building a black-owned business. I'm Devron Davis, and I'm filling in for our lovely host, Justice LaRue. Shout out Justice LaRue. And today, we have our guest, Tiffany Goggans from, no, not Our Dream of Tiffany's. It's Dream of Tiffany's now, right?
Dreams by Tiffany.
Dreams by Tiffany. Okay. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. Glad you came on the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Good. So, I'm going to just jump right into it. I want to call you a celebrity stylist just because everybody knows you where you're from.
Hey.
Right. So, the $1 million question. When did you decide I want to be a stylist for a living? I want to do hair. And what did that look like for you?
That happened back in 2003 about. And actually, I had been doing hair for a while at that time. But I had decided that hair was not what I wanted to do because I had been doing hair and had kind of got burnt out on it. I had been doing hair since I was very young and had gotten burnt out on it by that time. So I had decided that I was going to go get a job, and I did that. And I landed a pretty good position at Boeing in St. Louis, and I had put the hair stuff to the side. I said, I'm not doing that. So I worked there, and probably a couple of years into working there, and it was paying the bills, and I was doing well. And so I was kind of still doing a little hair on the side, but not full time. We hit the recession that happened back then that I'm sure a lot of people remember, and my department got outsourced to Seattle. So there was 15 of us, and we all lost our jobs. So those who do hair know that hair is always something that you can fall back on. And so that's what I did. So I decided to go to school because I did not have a license before then. I was just doing close family members and friends. And so back in 2003, I went to school and got licensed to do hair and started doing hair from there. And then I realized, because hair is definitely my passion, and I realized that hair is what I love to do, and that, God led me to this because I didn't want to do free hair. And once I started getting paid, once I became a professional and started getting paid and making money and lots of it, I was like, oh, hair is definitely what I want to do, and it's definitely my passion. And so after going to school and get licensed and becoming a professional and being in a salon and making money doing hair, I love it, and that's what I have been doing since then. And that's kind of what happened, how I started doing hair.
Okay, so doing hair was, I guess, like a divine intervention for you. Like this was a halt in whatever path you decided you wanted, and the Most High was just like, nah, that ain't what I got for you.
Yeah, well, I think that God opened that door for me, and sometimes you fight certain things, but sometimes you just have to pray about it and let God lead your path. And I think that He is who led me back to where I needed to be, because that's where I needed to be, and I just didn't know. Like I said, doing family members and friends, I thought I didn't want to do hair, but once I became a professional and was making real money doing hair, it's exactly what I want to do. So it just, something had to happen, and
That's what happened.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Okay. So would you say that it was the money that led you to being passionate about it, or being passionate about it led to the money?
No, being passionate about it definitely led to the money.
Great.
Yes.
Great. Yeah, and that happens. A lot of people get so fixed on an entrepreneurial endeavor that, I'm not making no money, how my bills gonna get paid. It's scary when your only safety net is you. And I feel like your story is a age-old one that's saying if you stay with it, the money will come. You know what I mean? If you give it love and passion and time and dedication, the money will come.
Definitely.
Yeah. Speaking of money, so being an entrepreneur, how important would you say is budgeting as an entrepreneur to grow as an entrepreneur, as an individual?
Oh my goodness. It's very, very, very important. And one thing I can say about myself, I have always been very organized. Financial freedom starts with being organized. And as long as I have a book and I will take up every page in the book. It's a little small notebook. I carry it everywhere I go. And once the pages are empty, I get another one because I write everything down. I down to the bills, down to how much money I made for the day. I write everything down that way it's on paper so I can see it. So it's organization is the key.
Okay, that's a good one because a lot of people, when they think about, just in my experience, when people think about scaling a business or starting a business or growing a business, it's always a financial burden that they put on themselves first, which, I understand, it takes money to make money. But if you got a little bit and you start with a little bit and then you work with a little more, then that becomes a lot, and organization and budgeting is a key component that I think a lot of minority owned businesses skip over. The organization, like it's a lot of cutting corners, if you will, with our people, and we gotta we gotta cut that short. We definitely gotta cut that short.
Definitely. It takes a lot of discipline and prioritizing things and just knowing off tops and taking care of business and taking care of what's important before you go play. And I had to do a lot of that, obviously, because I was only 24 when I opened my first business.
Wow.
So
That's applaud worthy because there's a lot of people that age who don't even know what they want to do in life, let alone opening. You said you had a building.
I did. And how that happened was a family member actually had the building, my first building. I am in my fourth location, and each time it got bigger and better over the last 18 years. But the first location, a family member was in the building doing a business and kind of decided that they were done with it. And it just so happened that I had just got laid off at Boeing, so it all just kind of happened, like I said, in God's plan, and it all just kind of happened at the right time. And he asked me if I wanted to take it over, and I just kind of took it over from there and was there for about 3 years, and then and moved on from there. But yes, I did. I had my own building at 24. So yes.
Okay. So I'm glad you started speaking on the building. So at 24, your first building. And that was in Winsfield too, right? You've been in Winsfield all 18 years.
No.
No?
Mm-mm. I was in Winsfield for 3. I moved to O'Fallon for probably about 14, and I've been back in Winsfield now for another 3.
Okay.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. So the brick and mortar. For the people listening in and looking for, I guess, advice on opening a brick and mortar, what did it look like for you to open that brick and mortar, from furnishing it to the build out to getting approved for loans if you needed a loan? What did that process look like for you, and how did that process look as a black woman in a place like Winsfield?
Like I said before, my advantage is that I am very disciplined and very organized when it comes to financials. I was young, and I did take out my first loan. I did take out my first loan at my first business, and that was just more so like when I took over the business from my family member just to furnish it, and because it was something else, and I turned it into the beauty shop, so I needed some furniture and different stuff like that. So it wasn't a real big loan, and I don't know if this is helpful to anyone, but I went to the big banks because that's where I banked at, the big banks. And I went to the big banks and they turned me down. And I had decent credit. I was young, but I had decent credit. But I went to a small bank in the town of Winsfield, a small bank, and they gave me my first loan. So that is who I have dealt with all these years. Smaller banks, credit unions seem to be they seem to help out more, help out, I guess, young people or first-time business owners. I don't know if that would help, but I found my luck with them. And so I did. I took out a loan to get some furniture and different stuff like that. And And then I was working really hard and saving every dime and just being disciplined, and I just saved cash. And the location I'm in now, actually, I opened it up, and it's huge, it's nice, and I don't owe anyone just because I worked hard and I saved, and I don't owe anyone. And I was able to go in and do painting and floors and plumbing, and it was just with money that I have saved over the years, because I knew that I wanted to continue to build and continue to grow, and I didn't want to stay where I was at. So that's just how I've done it.
That's what's up. Congratulations on the new location, the new
Thank
bigger
you.
location. And if you guys aren't listening, it is Dreams by Tiffany in Winsfield, Missouri. And what is the address?
411 East Pierce, Winsfield, Missouri, 63385.
There you go. If you ever need your hair done and you in the area, holla at Dreams by Tiffany. So, moving on. So you at 24, you had your first building. You took out your first loan. And for everybody listening, don't be afraid of credit and loans. Don't be afraid of that, because a lot of people will tell you cash is king, but you can move and do anything you want off a promise to pay. Credit can get you in places that your cash can't, for lack of better words.
That
You know
is
what I
so
mean?
true.
Yeah, if
That
you've
is so true.
established a credit history with of an established financial institution, a credit union, a bank, if you've established that credit history, you can go virtually anywhere and get the funding you need to open your brick and mortar. But like Tiffany said, it takes discipline, prioritizing, and really having a plan of action and how you're going to execute that plan of action.
Absolutely.
So yeah, you guys definitely keep listening and tuning in, because I feel like this conversation is going to have a lot of gems in it, a lot of gems. So with you moving on to your second location in O'Fallon, that was the longest period of time
Yes.
open, right?
Yes.
So what prompted you to relocate from Winsfield to O'Fallon?
The building that I was in actually sold. The building owner sold the space, and the new owners wanted to do something different with it. So they made it very uncomfortable for me, and so I was pretty much forced out. So that's
that
just kind of
sucks.
what happened with that.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So now you're in O'Fallon, which, as if I remember correctly, O'Fallon was pretty much a staple in that community for a long time. Like,
Yes.
you would you say you gained the majority of your clientele in O'Fallon?
Yes, because I was there the longest. I was there 16 years, so yes. But a lot of my clients are day ones, have been with me for all 18 years. As a matter of fact, been with me before. Been with me I was doing hair in my mama kitchen, yelling,
Before the
"Get
professional
out of here!"
years.
So yes, been with me for even before that. So yes.
Yeah, that's what's up. That's what's up. Longevity and consistency, y'all. I hope y'all listening to this. Longevity and consistency, and you can build. Like this is for anybody. Anybody can do this if you put your mind to it. You have a plan. There's this quote that I kind of live by from Denzel. I was watching I follow this page called Goalcast on Facebook, and one of the things he said that always sticks out to me is dreams without goals remain dreams. So you can dream as big as you want to. Your dreams can scare you to death, but if you don't have a plan of action on how to execute those dreams, they always gonna be that, dreams. That's it. So I encourage y'all to have a plan of action along with that dream. Like you want a sports bar, okay? What area am I in? What does that look like? How many other sports bars are in my area? How much money am I gonna need to open a sports bar? How do I get a liquor license? How do I get serve safe chefs or mixologists, bartenders? Like what does that look like? And your credit, how much money do you have stashed to spend? What is that going to look like getting credit? A lot of those things are a part of your journey on goal execution. And I'm really, because I've known you for a while, and I've always been a fan and proud of your journey
Well,
with,
thank you.
with
Thank you.
your in this profession, because it can be trying. I come from same background, being a barber. I haven't had the chance to open up a shop yet, but it's always a pleasure to sit down with somebody who's been where I'm trying to go.
Yes.
And I think that's one thing that us as a community we can listen to. Like humble ourselves and listen to people who've been where we're trying to go. There's we got to take the ego out of business. You know what I mean? You got to take the ego and the personal issues out of business and just conduct business. Listen to those who've been where you're trying to go.
Yes.
And there's a takeaway from everything. Speaking of takeaways, so second location, you were forced out of the first one. Did you have to, I guess the question is, was there a takeaway from the first building going into this one? Was there a different process? Did you learn anything new? Was there any changes in your systems or schedules or how you book clients? Like, what did that look like?
Yeah, no, not a whole lot of change happened. Just kind of, I went from Winsfield to O'Fallon, so there was probably about a 15-minute difference. I live in Winsfield, so there was a little longer of a commute. So I had to get up a little earlier. That's about it, but not much of a change. All my clients, pretty much, I don't think I lost any clients or anything. So everyone followed, and it just was building location, pretty much. Not a lot changed other than building location. To me, it was, I changed the look of the salon a little bit, kind of did some different with the decor and different stuff like that.
Cosmetics and
Yeah,
stuff.
cosmetic stuff, but not a lot changed, no.
Okay. So speaking of your system, how would you say that the process of establishing your business, like what was that process like? Building the clientele, the location. Was the location you picked strategic? What did that look like?
I was young, and I wrote a business plan, and like I said, I went and took my business plan to my financial officer so I can apply for the loan that I needed because I was trying to, purchase some things. But as far as clientele-wise, I actually, like I said, grew up in the area where I do hair at, and I was doing hair at my mom's house, like I discussed. So, and when I landed my job at Boeing, I was still kind of doing a little bit on the side. So, once I announced that I was going to be doing hair full time and going to school, the clients are just there. I'm telling you all, it's been nothing but God. I've been blessed. I don't know. I never have had to. I've never had to advertise. I've never had to pay. I've never paid for big money for advertising, and
really?
It's not me. It's just God. It's been word of mouth has been my best friend. People leave out of the salon, and 2 people call. I just seen so and so in Walmart. Their hair is really pretty. Can you do mine next week? That's just how it's been for me. Like it's just been word of mouth. So I just built on that, and being in the community where I grew up at, where we, it's a small community, so we all know each other. You go to church there. You do everything there. So you do your church people and their family, and it just grew like that. Like I didn't really have to do a whole lot.
So the advertising in your case was more so your work, the consistency and doing your due diligence.
If you take pride in your work and what you do, and let your work speak for itself, your business will grow, because just word of mouth. Word of mouth can be your best friend sometimes.
Okay, y'all hear that? Passion in what you do, customer service, reliability, consistency. All of that plays a part in building your business and establishing. And in this industry of barbering and cosmetology, word of mouth is your best friend.
Absolutely.
Because your haircuts and your hairstyles is a walking billboard.
Yes.
And that can translate across the field of business infinitely. Whether you're a contractor or the graphic design artist, an architect, lawn care, you do, what's the word I'm looking for? Landscaping. Whatever you do, like that translates across the board. Just consistency in your work is your walking billboard. That's your first place of advertisement.
Take pride in your work. I don't let anyone leave the salon without that totally finished, polished look, and it speaks for itself. Every hairstyle I do, I get 2 more clients off of just that one hairstyle, just because people are living their everyday life, going to the grocery store,
Yeah.
going to work.
You hear that, y'all? Like, word of mouth is powerful. It's very, very powerful. And speaking of marketing, it's crucial if you have word of mouth is one thing, but actually having a presence in today's world with social media and TV and radio. If you have the budget, even if it's a small budget, a big chunk, at least 40% of that should be going to making yourself visible as a business. Y'all gotta know that. That's one thing you gotta take away from this conversation. Making yourself visible as a business is so important, because if you have one and no one knows you have one, then what good does that do?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you got to realize I am speaking almost 20 years ago. So this is before any of the social media platforms was really popular. So today it is different.
Yeah.
If I was doing it all over again today, if I was starting up, I definitely would probably have to go about it totally different. But we are speaking on almost 20 years ago. So the biggest thing 20 years ago was what they had MySpace maybe, but I'm not even sure that people were
I think
really
it was
advertising.
MySpace, like MySpace and Black Planet. And
yeah, they would come into my salon and say, "Hey, we're running a promotion. Would you want to put your business on the back of this Snooks receipt?" That's
right.
kind of what was going on
that's
then.
That's what was going on then. Newspaper ads. Yeah.
Newspaper ads, exactly.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Okay. Well, what did I want to say next? I lost my train of thought. Oh, yeah. Making yourself visible as a business. So, your location in O'Fallon. When you moved from Wentzville to O'Fallon, did you strategically choose that location, or was it just something like a building? It was there and it fit what you needed as a salon and you chose it?
Yeah, I had to move pretty quick.
Okay.
So, it actually, honestly, wasn't where I wanted to be. But again, I was still pretty young, and I could afford it, because that's one thing you have to do when you're. So many people are trying to live above their means. That's another thing I've never done. You bite off more than what you can chew, and that'll kill you in no time at all. So, it was a building that I could afford, and so that's where I chose to go, because I had to move pretty quick at that time. But really, when you take pride in your work and when you treat people well, the building don't mean nothing. The building, where you're at, it really doesn't mean anything. You know what I'm saying? The people are going to come. So,
so your validity as a stylist ultimately drew. What was that movie? I can't even think of the movie, but it was like, if you build it, they will come.
yes.
Yeah, so kind of like one of those situations. So the building wasn't a strategy for you. It's all the work, putting your love and pride into your work.
Yes, I didn't. To answer your question, no, I did not strategically find the building and pick it. It's just kind of, I had to move quick, and I found it. It was in my budget, and I went in and I made it mine, and everybody followed. And it's really not about where you're at or the building. And I just think that it's, like I said, as long as you take pride in your work, you don't have to pick a certain building, to me.
Okay. So that was the second building. So the first building and the second building, you were by yourself. You didn't have any other stylists or anybody working with you. It was just all you, right?
Oh, no, yeah. In all my businesses, I've had people come and go. In this building, in this field, the turnaround, you have people come and go all the time. But yes, I have people working with me both times, in all the buildings.
So what, I guess in barbering and cosmetology, they'd be independent contractors. So it wouldn't necessarily be staff, but it's still scaling. You go from alone to having people work in your building,
Yes.
As a business. So your scaling, was that part of your business plan, or did it kind of just happen? Did you need people to come in and help with the rent? Like, what does scaling look like for you?
No, you never, ever, ever. Well, I put it this way: I never, ever, ever depend on other people to help run your business. You make sure that you got this regard, because people are fickle. And you make sure that with or without them, that's what I've always done. With or without them, I'm gonna be okay.
Yeah.
And you just count the people, the independent contractors that work in your salon. You make sure that they're just an extra.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how you have to, because you should never put your destiny in someone else's hands, because they'll disappoint you.
Yeah.
So.
And that's a very good point. Is another reason why I asked that. It's a very good point to never depend on other people. Whether you're in the barber and cosmetology industry, whether you're in the contracting industry, if your business doesn't thrive based on what you provide to it, the work you put into it, then ultimately it's destined to fail anyway, because it can't survive without the other moving parts. And being an entrepreneur is hard, where it's not for the faint of heart, because you have on, essentially you wear all the hats.
Absolutely.
You wear all the hats until you can start delegating jobs and positions and duties. I guess in the cosmetology field, have you ever had that luxury, being a cosmetologist, to delegate duties to someone else? Have you always worn all the hats?
Oh no. I do when there's people working in there, when you work with people, pretty much they're independent contractors. So, there's a fine line. They don't technically work for you, but they're still in your building. So we all work together, and so yeah, I do have to give certain tasks to certain people, and I have had an assistant, and so I'm delegating tasks to her, and so yeah,
Okay,
definitely.
that's what's up. That's a good luxury to have, an assistant, because Lord knows I'm probably at the stage where I need one.
Yes, yes, definitely.
That helps a lot. So with delegating these hats and having an assistant, how would you say that, I guess, what you earn versus what you spend? Like, how did you calculate that you were ready to delegate to someone in the shop or hire an assistant? What marked what milestone let you know that, okay, I'm ready for this now, to delegate hats? I need to take off this hat, give it to you, take off this hat, give it to you.
Yeah. When you're working so long, and there was a point that I still work long, just because I do have a lot of clientele, and more so just because I'm a people pleaser, and I'm trying to fit everyone in. But when I was just working such long hours, and you get to a point where I'm just like, I can't do it all on my own. So I mean, that's pretty much when I reached out to an assistant, and and that way, they can come in and they can do some of the shampooing and different things like that. So it helps your day flow, and you can get a whole lot more clients in. But yeah, I guess when I reached that point when I was just working too hard. I'm only one person, so
Right.
I had so many clients that I just couldn't get to everyone. So I guess that's the point that I realized I need an assistant, and I brought her in because you obviously make more money when you bring an assistant. You're able to do more because it takes some of the weight off of you.
Yeah. So you say you were forced into having an assistant. Like the work got so over, putting the pride into the work. It got so overwhelming that you had to have help.
Yes.
Good. And that point, I asked that question because I hear a lot that people say, I did it on my own. Or you look up to, like, the people you look up to, whether this celebrity hairstylist or actors or business moguls, or Elon Musk, Jay-Z, Kendrick Lamar, or Denzel Washington, or Will Smith. These people, these iconic figures that we see, no one did it on their own. So, like, don't fall into the facade of, I did it by myself. Nobody did it by themselves. There comes a point where you're going to have to delegate. There's no way you can be the CEO, the founder, the COO, the CTO, the CFO, president, vice. You can't be all of those people. Legally, you can't be all those people when you're starting a business. You can't do that. To operate a business successfully and to get to where you want to be as a business, you can't do that. You have to delegate, and you just have to, y'all. You have to. That's point two. Like if that's one more thing you could take away from this conversation, you can't do it alone. No one ever has done it alone. Right. So moving along, you've been in Wentzville, and then you moved to O'Fallon, and now you're back in Wentzville, right?
Back in Winston.
Back in Wentzville. So how was that treating you? You good?
I'm good.
You good? Yeah.
I'm good. Back in Winstville, just wanted to expand my business. It was just a salon, and now it's a salon and spa. We have wanted to offer some more services, so just transition. I'm back in Winstville. Winstville is home, so I missed being there, and so I had been trying to get back. It took a little longer than what because I was looking for that perfect building, and once I found it, I was like, oh, there it is. So I'm back, and I'm comfortable, but just transitioned back to home because just trying to expand the business.
Okay. So the expansion and this building, it sounds like was strategic when you say you were looking for the perfect building.
Yes.
So true. What was that strategy? How'd that process go?
Actually, I was just riding on my way home one day and seen a building that there was a for lease sign in the window, and just stopped by, and the guy happened to be out there, so I was able to look at it that day, and it had exactly what I was looking for. Just kind of broke down rooms where we can put each service into a different room, opposed to the salon that I left was more of an open space.
Okay.
So just got the ball rolling on that.
So did location, like foot traffic, general? Because I know you've been established, but having other stylists and service providers in the building, did this location influence the decision to expand the services?
Definitely, because it's more, the salon I moved from was not a storefront. This is a storefront, which it happens to be the same storefront I started back in 2004. It's just right down the street, so I know what the traffic is like, and what what type of business comes from being on that street. So definitely.
Okay. So from 2004 all the way to 2022. I guess this is the big question of the conversation. Is there anything that you would tell your young self from yourself now to make the road easier?
My young self to make the road easier. Learn social media. That's what I'm struggling with. I am so serious. That's what I'm struggling with now. I feel like everybody's on social media, and I'm trying to. So I would tell my young self, because back when it was first getting popular, I was like, oh, I'm not interested. I'm not interested. And pretty much these days, if you're not on social media, you do not exist. Period. And so I probably would have jumped into it back in the day when it first started getting popular, opposed to waiting till I probably just got on social media like last week.
See, but that's a lot of thing though. Like when I know we were talking earlier before we actually started the show about if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But evolution, evolving with the times is really important. As entrepreneurs and business owners. So I'm glad you said that, learning social media, because that's a part of the evolution that I think this pandemic could have. I think a lot of businesses could have stayed thriving through the pandemic and not have had to close if social media was a weapon, that they had a tool in their shed that they had sharpened and learned how to use well. Maybe not even well, just if you know it good enough to make money off of it, to use it to your advantage. Social media is definitely a good thing to use. Definitely a good thing to use. Yeah. Well, I'm so glad you came to the show today. I hope the audience had a lot of takeaways from this conversation. Thank you for the gems dropping in this conversation. If you want to tell the audience, new potential clients tapping into this social media, where they can find you, how they can book you, and I guess the location address again.
Yes, the location address is 411 East Pierce, Winsfield, Missouri, 63385. Dreams by Tiffany.
Dreams by Tiffany. And how can they find you on social media?
Dreams by Tiffany over all platforms.
Okay, there you have it. Dreams by Tiffany, all social media platforms in Winsfield, Missouri. If you need your hair whip, flip, fried, dyed to the side, you do natural hair too, right?
A little bit.
A little bit. Okay.
I am actually getting. I'm kind of transitioning into hair replacement. Is kind of where I'm transitioning into. So kind of letting some of the older stuff go, and that's my passion. The new thing I have going on, working with cancer patients, lupus, any type of hair loss, alopecia issues, which a lot of women are suffering with. So just kind of trying to build confidence in that area. So that's kind of where I'm kind of transitioning into more of that, opposed to the natural hair and the things that I was doing back, some years back. So
Okay. That's dope. I'm glad you said that, because there's one question before we go. That's one question that I wanted to ask you. Why do you love? Like, what is your purpose in doing hair? Like, what's your why?
My why is definitely, I love when people get out the chair, they're smiling. I love building confidence. I love building relationships. There's a lot of you get a lot from it, because not only are you people's hairstylists, you gain a lot of friends. You gain, you're a counselor, you're a referee. Sometimes you take on a lot of roles when people are in your salon. But just building relationships and confidence. I just love when women feel beautiful, and I love to be a part of that. So inside and out. We pray together, we uplift each other, you become family in a salon. And so it's
Definitely.
just, you get so much out of it. But building people's confidence inside and out.
Definitely
That's what I take from it.
Dope. That's, who could ask for a better answer? So y'all, if everybody's still tuned in, I want to leave you with 3 things. Have a dream, make some goals, and know your why. Those 3 things, inevitably, you will succeed if you know those 3 things. Dream big, set goals, and know your why. That's it. So that's our time. And my name is Deveron Davis, and I'm filling in for the lovely host, Justice LaRue. Shout out to you. And this is SableCast, where we highlight minority-owned businesses and non-for-profits, and we talk about their unique experiences in building Black-owned businesses. If you or anyone you know would like to be featured on the show, visit us at The Real SableCast across all social media platforms, The Real SableCast, or you can visit us at sableways.com. That's SableWays.com. Sableways.com. That's my time. And again, thank you for tuning in. This is SableCast.